Okay, today is a special and also very personal episode. I'm sitting down with two of my closest friends from my MBA class at Kellogg. On top of being dear, dear friends, the three of us founded a dot-com startup together and sold it before we even got our diplomas. Welcome, my two dear friends, Nicole Small and Erin Krawiec. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. So happy, obviously, to be talking to both of you. This is just fun for us, but we're gonna try to make it hopefully interesting to others as well, and not
We've
just
come,
fun
we've
for
come
us.
a long way from your apartment floor at Kellogg, huh?
Yes, yes, we have. I have a real couch now that I get to sit on. So,
Hopefully, we won't
okay.
go off on too many tangents like we did when we were working on our
Yeah,
business plan in business school.
exactly. So, okay, I'm going to start by briefly sharing both of your bios and then we'll chat. Um, all right, I'm going to read. Nicole Small has served as CEO of LH Capital Inc. and Lida Hill Philanthropies since 2014 and is responsible for overseeing the strategic direction of both entities. As part of her work at LHP, Nicole co-founded the If Then initiative, which was built to encourage and advance women and girls Women and Girls in STEM. She is also the co-founder and advisor of Pegasus Park, a life sciences innovation campus based in Dallas. From 2001 to 13, Nicole was the Eugene McDermott Chief Executive Officer of the Perot Museum of Nature and Science. She holds a BA from the University of Pennsylvania and an MBA from Northwestern's Kellogg School of Management. Erin. Erin is the president and co-founder of Pitch Your Peers Seattle, a nonprofit that turns philanthropy into a collaborative, pitch-driven experience where women fund impactful local causes. Her career spans entrepreneurship, high-tech business roles, and serving as an expert witness in corporate litigation, an unconventional path shaped by curiosity and a drive to make an impact. Today, she focuses on building community and creating opportunities for others to engage in meaningful philanthropy. And Erin is a graduate of UCLA and Kellogg. Okay, so I want to start by rewinding to the pre-Kellogg days, and I'll ask each of you one at a time. Nicole, what were you doing pre-business school, and what was it that sort of sparked your desire to get that graduate degree?
Sure. Well, thanks again for having us. This is so fun. We'll try
Yes.
to we'll try to be serious. Um, before Kellogg, I spent 2 years as a business analyst at McKinsey and Company. When I graduated from college, I was kind of pursuing a somewhat traditional path. Went to college, did the job search, was trying to decide if I want to be a banker or a consultant. Went to work for McKinsey for 2 years, and at the time, it was very, very traditional and typical, which I think it still is, but to do a couple of years as an analyst, go back to business school, and then plan on returning back to McKinsey. So that's what I was doing before business school. And that was just kind of like part of the path you took at the time. So did my 2 years and then headed off to business school where I met you guys.
Yay, lucky us. Um, and why'd you choose Kellogg?
At the time, I looked at, I think, kind of all the usual suspects of business schools. And one of the things that I did when I was thinking about applying to business school was I actually looked around at the managers that I liked the most, that I felt the most connected with, that led in the ways that I wanted to work for. And it turned out at the time that several of them were actually Kellogg grads. And so there was just something about their project management style, their leadership style, the way they sort of approach the work and the business and their teams and the culture, that was really attractive to me. And so that for me was a lot of the big reason that I picked Kellogg. I was, 2 years out of McKinsey. I was still really young. I didn't, it's a different time today. We didn't have as much information. And I just was really excited about, gosh, if I could go to a place where there's a lot of leaders like them and then leave the school and lead in the way that they do, with this kind of very both the business focus, but also kind of the cultural focus, right? I think we all know sort of organizational behavior is always the thing we always wish we took more of. They were really great people. And so that was a lot of the reason I picked Kellogg because the role models that I had at the firm when I was there were Kellogg people. And so it made it really attractive to me.
Yeah, I think that still really stands. Like, sorry, Kellogg people are. Okay, Erin, pre-Kellogg, what were you doing and what sparked that desire to return to school?
Similar. I was in a traditional consulting role. I was actually doing litigation consulting, so damage analysis for corporate litigation. Um, and I got exposure to a ton of different industries, and I just felt like I don't want to be a consultant my whole life. I want to go into industry and get one of these jobs that, I want to be the client instead of the consultant. And that was sort of my thinking at the time. And I really liked the idea of marketing. And so I chose Kellogg because it had that reputation and I thought I wanted to go into marketing. So it was for me a bit of a pivot to go from, traditional consulting sort of into a company role.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we all end up at Kellogg having tons of fun. First year,
Tons of
we had our
fun.
summers. Second year, we come back. And do either of you remember the moment when we birthed our big business idea? It was called webwisher.com. Wish I could show like logos, but I need to dig that up. But anyway, do you guys remember sort of the story, how it came to
Well,
be?
I remember that there were fragments of ideas, and I remember coming back after my summer. So my summer was brand marketing at General Motors, and I went to Detroit and I did the whole thing. And honestly, I came back after that internship, and I probably had one of the most um, interesting and challenging and relevant marketing internships of everyone I knew after that summer when I compared stories. I actually got to do really cool and interesting projects. Um, but I also felt like, okay, that's a big company. Wow, I don't know if I want that big company feel. And I just got this feeling like, you know what? This internet thing is taking off. Look at us. Look, I mean, the year was 1999. It was like the birth of consumer internet. And I just felt like, really, marketing, it feels like the wrong place to be. And so I just remember I don't remember the birth of it all, but I do remember initiating a conversation. I do remember thinking, okay, if I was to start a company and if I was going to go into this technology frontier and enter it, who do I want to do this with? And who are the smart and awesome people to do it with? And I thought of you two and I said, do you guys want to start talking about businesses? And I know we all kind of like, you guys right away were like, yes, yes, yes. And we kind of took those fragments and worked through them. But I want to hear your versions.
Yeah, it's so funny. I don't remember like exactly what started it all, but I remember that we all decided we wanted to do something, right? We'd all kind of come out of traditional internships and I think I'd always thought I would go back to McKinsey. I, did banking over the summer and had done kind of again the traditional thing. And I remember us meeting like every week, right? I mean, we're joking, but I remember like literally laying
More
on the
than once a
floor,
week. It
like
felt like multiple times a week
like
that we were committed and
like
having
and
fun, but committed.
yeah, I remember literally laying on the floor of Stacy's apartment and being like, we were just every week, ideas, 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 right? And then we would like maybe have an idea and try to run that down to see if there was like anything in that,
Yeah, it
right?
was like a
And
little incubator
yeah,
in Stacy's
every
apartment.
single time until we found an idea that we thought like was worth something, right? So, I mean, that's what I remember. It was fun, right? And it was,
Yeah.
I mean, I think to the lesson, and I try to tell this to people too, like we didn't get it the first time, right? I mean, we probably had like 30 ideas before I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah.
just sent y'all all
We were
those
going to write a
random,
book. We had all these
Oh
business
yeah.
plans.
We
We
were
had
yeah.
very creative.
logos.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
it doesn't just like, you don't just wake up and you're like, oh my God, I have like the idea, right? You have to
Yeah.
like work at it. So I
But
remember
together
that.
we sort of developed this skill set of being able to not just have ideas, but know what's a good idea and how to process through ideas. So I think that was actually a super valuable skill set for all of us.
Yeah. Um, I think back to that time and it was so ancient, long ago. It's crazy how much things have changed,
We
but
barely
I
had the
think,
internet to research on. Do you remember?
well, exactly. So
That's the
that was my
crazy
question.
thing.
Like, I think about things that were challenging for us.
Oh,
And I mean, I'll give one example. We were quoted for building a website like many millions of dollars just to build a basic website that like maybe you could do yourself on DIY on like Shopify now. So I'm just, do either of you have memories of pieces of technology that we have now that would have made it so much easier? Like things were just hard. It
things were
harder.
really hard. I mean, even just connecting to VCs, I feel like would have been easier now. Just even networking, even,
Hiring.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, even logo creation. Hey, AI,
Oh my
create my logo
gosh.
for me
Yeah.
in 10 seconds.
Shout
I
out
mean,
to Suzanne Ginestro for creating our logo.
that's right.
I mean, and
Um,
do you remember we were trying to integrate like back end with retailers because the idea, right, was like the online gift registry. We were like having to call people, right? Like, hey, we have this idea. Like, would you ever, right? I mean, trying to think about like back end integration with inventory and I
Oh
mean, it's just
yeah. I
it
mean,
just
that was
was
all
such
so
a
complex.
different
But
but
world,
it was
right?
a good idea that, I mean, spoiler, sold and is still out there. And so, hey, yay us, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and do
So
you
I'm,
remember we entered the business plan competition? I think that was the other thing that was
oh,
like the
yes.
turning point for us, right? So remember,
mhm.
they did the digital Kellogg Digital Frontiers Digital Business Plan competition, and the three of us entered. And do you remember
Yes.
Guy
Yes.
Kawasaki was one of the
Yes.
judges? And like, I think
Yes.
for us, that was a turning point too, because we were like, well, what the heck? Like, let's like enter this thing. I mean, we probably won't
It
win, but like,
forced
let's
us to
try.
sort of formalize it and
Right.
create it.
Yeah. And then second semester, we have an independent study that gave us more time to
Yeah.
actually like flesh out the idea and
Yes.
work on getting our funding
And the
and we got
professors were
credit.
so helpful
Yeah,
in
it was
introducing us and
actually
connecting us.
a,
And I mean, that like more than I think getting the curriculum of like how to be an entrepreneur, you're getting a curriculum of business, which is what an entrepreneur needs. But it's those conversations with the professors and the classmates and the alumni and the intros and yeah,
absolutely
the business plan competition and the conferences. Like I remember, I mean, we met a lot of people through that
a
conference.
lot of doors open for us that would never have opened if we weren't coming from Kellogg, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, I think being in the business school environment and winning that competition allowed us to have those contacts with the professors and sort of all the people that then sort of rallied around, I think, helping us try to take an idea to like a real company, right? Which
Right.
we probably wouldn't have been able to do if we weren't in the business school environment at the time.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was like our own form of a garage, right?
Yes.
And it was really through Kellogg that we got introduced to Fortune,
Yes.
which ended up being fun PR.
Yes. Yes. Um, okay, so I'm curious from both of you, maybe we've kind of talked about it, but like when you went to business school, you had a vision of what you were going to get out of it, what you'd walk away with, tools, network, whatever it is. Like for each of you, what was that? And was it right? Or did you have bigger takeaways or different takeaways? So I'll start with Nicole.
I think I had like a pretty traditional expectation because again, I had kind of done the like traditional path of consulting, then go to business school, then go back to consulting. And I think I thought, oh, I'm going to go learn like the business skills that maybe I hadn't learned. And I don't think I fully realized like the much broader impact that business school was going to have, obviously, on my whole life. I think I went into it thinking, oh, I'm going to take these classes and get a set of skills and all the things that I need. I didn't, and maybe I guess I'll meet some people and have a better network. But I don't think I missed on the expectation in like a great way, right? Because what I got out of it obviously were incredible networks of people. I think I would have never personally pivoted and been like, I'm going to start a company and be an entrepreneur if I hadn't met the two of you. I thought I was doing this path. And so I think that even today, right, it's always like the greatest moment, like this gift of 2 years or whatever your business school journey is, to be able to stop for a minute and rethink, like, who am I? What do I want to do? Like, I know I thought I was going to be this way and this is what I was going to get out of business school, but had I not been there and met you all, I think I would have had a completely different life trajectory. And so, I got all the business skills, right? You meet all those professors. You learn to do the public speaking and remember Marty Stoller's class. Like those were like that, those are skills that like to this day, right? Still use every single day. So I think I didn't have big enough expectations for business school, and I had no idea how my life would 100% pivot because of really of you all and of being at that school. So I think I had much smaller expectations and they far exceeded, and my life took a completely different path because I went there.
Yeah. How about you, Erin?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I went for the marketing skills. But in the end, I mean, I think it's sort of the more esoteric things that I got out of it. I feel like it taught me how to operate without a clear answer. Just go out there in
Yeah.
ambiguity, taking risks. It gave me sort of a framework, I think, for evaluating ideas and not just having them, kind of like what we talked about. Sharpened my ability to speak in public, speaking with confidence. And I don't know, I would say like kind of it did expose me to paths that I didn't really know existed. So, seeing people go into technology like we talked about, seeing, people going and doing all the different things, it really expanded my sense of what is possible. And it really, I think, normalized a non-linear career path. Just, the people that came back to Kellogg even and seeing how they got from Kellogg to where they were, it always felt like it was non-linear. And it sort of normalized that for me to feel like you don't have to just sign on for a job and stay there your whole time. You can switch around, you can reinvent. So
Yeah, I mean, this conversation is about you guys, but ditto everything you said. I think business school for me, and I think probably for you too, it's like that sliding doors moment where your life is going and you're kind of like, yeah, I'll take 2 years and then I'll get maybe a different job, but it just blows it all apart and everything was different in such a much better, amazing, bigger way. Like it just,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what did you think you were going to do after business school?
Well, I was in private equity. I was sitting behind spreadsheets. I wanted to move into marketing and I wanted to work in brand management. I mean, I'm still kind of like a brand person. I love marketing and I wanted like a traditional CPG job and I got it and I mean, I hated it. I was at Pillsbury. I was working on the Haagen-Dazs brand, which they owned at the time. It was that's maybe another conversation, but
And summer internships taught us a lot. Yeah.
it was not what I wanted it to be. And I remember you guys didn't really say this, but us coming back and I was like, no go on that experience. Nicole was like, I spent my summer like falling asleep in the bathroom stall at Goldman Sachs because I didn't go to sleep the night before. Like we were both like, oh my God, we need a new path and shit. We're in our second year of business school. And like, what do we do? Okay, we're going to start our own thing. So, yeah, that was, yeah, total pivot. I didn't do at all what I thought I'd do, except I do still love marketing, but I do it in a different way. So. Okay, so brief summary. We graduated. We appeared on the cover of Fortune magazine. We sold our company. We worked for the acquiring company, super hot company in San Francisco. Like it was the time, it was exciting. We all left to become resident entrepreneurs briefly, and then we scattered. Nicole in Dallas, Erin in Seattle, I'm in LA doing different things. So I want to talk about now.
But still,
Um,
thankfully, however many decades later, talking every week, which is the best part,
oh,
right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Okay, Nicole, your first stop sort of after that experience was the museum. Can you talk about like the origin story and sort of what happened there?
Yeah, I mean, the quick story is I'd gotten kind of a dose of like what it was like to be an entrepreneur and start something by working with you guys and getting really passionate about startup life and getting passionate about like finding a business and something you could get really excited about. And we had been those entrepreneurs in residence for a short period of time, but in that time, like Erin said, like learning to review business plans, write them, think about like what made a successful business, how do you scale an idea, all those things. I moved back to Dallas, did some work for a local venture fund for a little while, and then ran into somebody who was chairman of the board of what was then the Museum of Natural History here in Dallas, who I had worked for when I'd been at McKinsey. They had been a client of mine because, I was like the youngest, like cheapest employee of the firm at the time. And they needed to do a pro bono project. So they said, will you go think about like how you start a new science museum? And I was like, wait, I get to like travel the world and look at science museums and that's like a job. I'm in for that. That's fun. Gave him a book, went away, thought I would like never have that conversation again, had the opportunity to reconnect and got engaged in thinking about it was a nonprofit, but they really wanted to think in a much more like business savvy way. And the question was like, can you build a new science museum from scratch? Can you think about it like a business? Can you think about it like a startup? And if we were to do that, like what would that look like? And I said, oh gosh, I just came out of, I don't know anything about nonprofit, but I love writing business plans. I love scaling businesses. I'd love to do that. That's super fun. So, took on kind of a consulting job for about a year with the museum, helping them write a business plan to think about like what would it look like to start a museum from scratch. And ended up staying there 12 years, got to be the CEO of the museum. We built a new museum from scratch, raised a couple $100 million. It's the Perot Museum of Nature and Science in Dallas. It's been open over a decade, seen over 10 million people. I'm about to do a second edition, which is really exciting. So yeah, a little bit non-traditional. Never thought when I was at Kellogg, I would be like working for a nonprofit, running a museum, doing those things. But all the skills that I learned at Kellogg and all the skills that I think we gained while we were building our startup were almost the same set of skills. When I started with them, I said, I don't know how to raise money like for a nonprofit. Like I don't know how to ask people to like give money away. But at the end of the day, we had been up and down Sand Hill Road, like pitching our business, and it ended up being the same skill set. The difference was they didn't get their money back. But
Mhm.
so that's kind of how I ended up at the museum, and it was an incredible experience. And left there to
An
work for
incredible museum.
yeah, it was a life-changing experience and no, very non-traditional kind of like post-business school. But all the skills that I learned, right? We always said that nonprofit was a tax status, not a business plan, right? We didn't aspire to get up and lose money every day. If you make money, you can do more, no margin, no mission. So, I mean, you are running a business, and Erin obviously does this work every day in the
Yeah.
nonprofit space as well. And so, I think there's a little bit of a misconception. Someone did say to me, if you put nonprofit on your resume, you will never, ever, ever get a real job again. Do not work for that museum. So someone told me that at the beginning. If you do nonprofit, like they will assume you can't ever do a real job. And I think Erin's obviously proving everybody wrong on that kind of work too. But so yeah, that was how I ended up at the museum, and it was great.
Okay, well, I always say you're one of the most humble people I know. Erin, you are too, both of you guys. Um, so you then were poached from the museum and talk about where you landed and what you're doing now.
Sure. So about 10 or 12 years ago, I ended up leaving the museum and joined one of our biggest donors, a woman named Lyda Hill, who's just this incredible entrepreneur and philanthropist and one of the most sort of creative, interesting women I've ever met. Had just become a member of the Giving Pledge and had committed to giving all of her wealth away while she was alive. And it's an incredible story. You can read about her. And she had given, we had been chatting and I'd been at the museum a long time and built it and opened it. And we've been open a year and was given the opportunity to join and kind of help her build her team to think about how she invested her capital. We do a couple of different things. So half my job is on the investment side, run the family office, very traditional investment family office role. And then half of my role is on philanthropy. So half of my life we try to make money and half of my life we try to give her money away. And if we can make more money, then that means we have more money to obviously put into the communities and the things that she cares about. So like I said, we on the investment side, we're hugely focused on all things life sciences. We've got a really large life sciences portfolio. We do a ton of venture work in the space. We do some direct investing into life sciences companies here in Texas in particular. We're the partners and founders in something called Pegasus Park here in Dallas, which is a 26-acre life sciences real estate project, 1 million square feet, focus on social innovation, life sciences, innovation. We've got over 30 startup life sciences companies on campus. And again, like back to the business school, back to our experience, really, really applicable to my daily life because I'm underwriting and evaluating venture stuff. We're helping launch these life sciences companies. We're trying to build an entrepreneurial ecosystem here. So that's a lot of work, particularly on the investment side. On the philanthropic side, we do a lot of community investing, but are primarily focused on all things nature and science. We've got a huge initiative called the If Then Initiative, which is about a $75 million investment to date, focused on trying to get girls and really now all kids inspired to pursue careers in science. And we do that through really lots of media plays. We've got TV shows. We're really excited. We're going to be launching a movie later this year. We do things like statue exhibits. You see our little orange statues
Yes, I
behind
saw
me.
that. Can
Yeah,
you like
yeah,
and it's not a statue exhibit, it was a Smithsonian exhibit.
yeah. So this is
I
a mini.
mean,
We did the
so
largest. One of the things that we have found is that girls don't see pictures of themselves on walls of museums and textbooks. So we wanted to change all that. We've launched the If Then collection is the largest digital collection of photographs and videos of women in STEM anywhere in the world. It's available for free to any nonprofit anywhere in the world. Hundreds of millions of people see photographs on museums all across the country. Your kids' textbooks, their pictures might be our If Then ambassador. We've changed textbooks across the country. And we were frustrated by what we were seeing on TV and then the movies. So we've got a TV show called Mission Unstoppable on Saturday mornings that sees over 1 million viewers, TikTok channels, all the fun things with Miranda Cosgrove. And then we did the statue exhibit because you can't unknow this, but there were less than half a dozen statues of real women anywhere in the US and all the major cities. Now you will not ever not see that. So we were frustrated by that and said, well, we need to fix that. So rather than just like kind of doing one bronze statue, we have these 120 amazing women ambassadors. And we were like, well, let's do the largest collection of statues of women ever done in history. 3D scanned them, never had been done before, 3D printed them, showed it at the Smithsonian. And we actually just announced If Then Statues 2.0 called Game Changers, which is launching this summer with the World Cup in FIFA. So we have
oh,
26 amazing women in STEM. It's like Nike designers, amazing orthopedic surgeons, the World Cup is coming up
Are
and
you
those,
coming to Seattle?
well, we have 9 games in Dallas, so we're gonna probably stay here
uh-huh.
and watch our own games, but I might have to come to Seattle too. We might bring some statues to you. That would be fun. So we've got that. So that's just a little bit of the work that we do here at Light a Hill, and it's been really fun.
Amazing. Amazing, amazing. Love hearing about. There's so much more.
It's
So
fun.
amazing.
Um,
The
okay,
friend I
so
always brag about
yeah, yeah.
amongst my many friends.
We get
Thank
we
you.
get to do fun work. We have a great team, so it's good.
Um, okay, so Erin, as we discussed a little, you're also focusing on philanthropy. I mean, you created this organization from the ground up, Pitch Your Peers Seattle, and tell us what you're up to. How do you attract members? What are some of the organizations you've given to? It's such a cool community that you've built.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean it's super grassroots. It's basically a women-led collective giving organization, and our members pool our money, and we pitch nonprofits to each other, kind of Shark Tank style. So we have a pitch night, and we get up there and do, the real 15-minute presentations and the Q&As, and then we set up opportunities for the members to really, really kind of dig in, kind of not quite to the level that Nicole is digging in when she's looking at her philanthropies, but really getting in, looking at the financials, looking, meeting the leaders, understanding their challenges, trying to help them solve their challenges. But basically, we really get to know three nonprofits every year. And then we do a vote and we split up the pool of funds and we give them each a large grant. We split it up 60%, 30%, 10% to first place, second place, third place. So there's a little bit of a competition in there. But it's really more about community and education and hands-on philanthropy, not just writing checks. So we're engaging the women in our community, we're networking and with each other and sort of not just writing checks and we're all starting to join the boards of these organizations. We're, you know, joining together, I say, in all of our philanthropy activities. And the cool thing is, I mean, we've been around now. We're celebrating our 10th year this year. So we've
Wow.
seen already we funded by the end of this year, it'll be 30 nonprofits. And
Wow.
so now we're doing really cool reunion events, and we're helping the nonprofits um, network with each other, and really, really building this sort of community of philanthropy in Seattle that's supported by our 69 amazing members who are just women from um, all professional women who are just sort of like looking for more and more ways to give and give more meaningfully. So it's been a really fun adventure.
So cool. So what was the number one organization last year that got funded?
So this organization called Northwest Immigration Rights Project, and they basically they're sort of fighting ICE and making sure that the things that ICE is doing is legal in our area. So they help they have basically volunteer attorneys who are taking cases for people who are right there in the ICE detention centers on their last line. And then they're taking on class action suits too for big groups of people and big communities of people. So it's pretty interesting. Out here in Seattle, we're pretty human rights focused. A lot of our grants are human rights focused, but we do a lot of education related grants. We've had really, really great first place grant recipients. Youth homelessness, trying to think of all the ones over the years.
I mean,
Um,
Erin, what you guys have like built and the fact that these agencies that have, I mean, it's hard to raise money in these communities and have to go person to person to person. Like for you to have built like this network that they can do this pitch. I mean, it's what y'all have done
Yeah,
over a
well, and
decade
we've
is
got these
really
smart, right, and we've got
remarkable.
these smart women who are our members who are kind of like looking for their next thing in life that they can, add value. And here they are. They're people like us, women with MBAs, women who are doctors and lawyers and have different expertises, and they want to give back. And a way for them to give back is I can go do a 15-minute pitch and bring an organization $80,000 or $150,000. So it's pretty neat. Yeah. And the organizations don't have to do any of the work to put the pitch together. So
Yeah, that's amazing.
yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Pretty awesome.
Love it. So proud of both of you.
Well, and Stacy, I know this is your podcast, but you've started like 15 things since you left business school. So, I mean, I know this is like your deal, but hopefully everyone who listens knows all the amazing things that you've done. So it's like
Thank you, Nicole.
every week, Stacy's got like a new idea that she's like growing and building. So
I know
we
years
just like
ago
to
I wanted
watch.
Yeah.
to do a
We should
podcast
interview
with you
her.
guys.
Yeah.
Okay. So, on this podcast, we talk a lot about how the MBA is just kind of the foundation for you to go and do all these things. I'm curious from both of you, like, what's been your biggest toolkit, like something that you've taken that you still use in your roles? Silent.
Um, well, I think we've kind of touched on some of them. And I mean, I would say that I think, obviously sort of like the basic business knowledge was super helpful, but I mean, I would say learning to work with and talk to people, right? The networking piece has been a huge piece, right? I mean, I think there have been so many times in sort of all of our lives over the last couple of years slash decades, don't really want to out ourselves, um, that 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 networking skill and that those relationships that we gained at school probably were helpful in a learning experience and a business contact and a personal contact. So, I mean, I think that's one thing. We talked a little bit about, just the organizational behavior stuff, right? Like the counting is one thing, but dealing with people, like AI can't deal with people either, right? Like those people skills and those leadership skills, like it doesn't even matter how much AI you can do today, right? Like we can use AI to underwrite a deal. We can have it do like a landscape analysis. Like we can have AI help us do all those things. But I think those leadership skills, and those, public speaking skills and the organizational behavior skills. I mean, I think for me, those are the things that have really persisted because, those are the skills that you need in any job. Like it doesn't matter the sector, it doesn't matter the industry, it doesn't matter whether you're nonprofit or for profit or startup or big company. Those are the skills that you really need. So I think those are the kinds of things. And then I would say the last thing is like this idea of taking risk. And I think we talked obviously about how our three lives were like dramatically changed, right, by going to business school. And I don't know if that happens to everybody that does like a complete career pivot. Like probably none of the three of us would have seen our lives going the way they did had we not intersected, like you said, that sliding door moment. But I do think, having the opportunity to have those 2 years to like try things and say things and offer your opinion, and whether it's in a case or a project, like that risk taking is something that I think you kind of have to learn. Like you have to have a little bit of that innately, but I also think you have to learn it, right? And you have to be like smart about risk. And I think that's one of the things that personally I would say I learned in business school is like the willingness to take like calculated risk,
Hmm.
right? So I think those are the things for me, that have been, stayed in my toolkit.
How about you, Erin? Anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's really sort of like help me to feel confident, like Nicole was saying, in taking the risks, but also in just sort of like being in those sort of ambiguous moments and knowing, okay,
Yeah.
I can work my way through this, and I have a structure and a strategic way of thinking that will help me get to the other side of this.
Mhm.
So I think that has allowed me to go into ambiguous or risky things that I might not have done otherwise.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally agree. Like
yeah, I would
decision
say
making in the face of chaos.
definitely.
Yeah.
I think the advice, that I would give that, for me, I think I thought I had this like perfectly mapped out career, but you don't really need that and you probably won't stay on it anyway. So if you can just sort of like focus on building your skills, following your curiosity, saying yes to opportunities that stretch you, and then over time, all of those experiences can connect in a way that like you didn't necessarily plan out or you didn't predict, but is actually makes you happy, and you're fulfilling something that you didn't actually even know that you would be fulfilling. So I'd say stay open and sort of follow curiosities and follow
Yeah,
passions.
well, that brings me to sort of the last big question I was going to ask you, and that's kind of like these three young people, if you could tell them something, I mean, maybe you already answered it, Erin, but like advice to your former self, if you want to add to that or move on to Nicole, like what would that
Well, I can add,
advice?
but go ahead and move on to Nicole, and then I'll add to it even more.
Well, I mean, I think what Aaron just said is great, really, right? Because I
Yeah,
think
I know.
that, I mean,
Amazing advice.
yeah, I think you kind of nailed it because I think like you can make a plan, but the plan never goes as planned, right? And so I think that you need to be thoughtful about like the direction you want to go because you need to acquire the skills and do those things. But I mean, I think if you're not open to where the world's going to take you, like if we had not been open to like who knew that like the first internet, thing was going to explode while we were in business school. Like none of us knew that going in, right? And if we had just been like, "Oh, well that's a thing over there and my plan is this." I mean, I don't know where we would all be, right? I mean, I'm sure we'd be fine, but I would say that, I
I
think
think
you gave great.
decisions Absolutely. And decisions that you make, I think, when you go in and decide to get your MBA, a lot of times you don't yet have um, you're just living your life for yourself, and you don't really know what living your life for a whole family means. And I think a lot of times once you get to that point where you've got a spouse and you've got kids, you've got to make a lot of different decisions. Maybe it's location, where you're going to live, or maybe it's, how many hours you're going to be able to work, or whatever it is. And that's going to change, and that's going to sort of impact your career, right? And so if you can't be sort of flexible and open and realize that, that's not the end of the world if it's not going to go according to plan, like plan's going to change,
There
you
might
have
be
Well,
a
and
to be
maybe it's a
better
open.
better
plan.
plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like
Do we just say the same thing? It's a
yes,
better plan.
it's a better
Yes.
plan.
And
You just
yeah, I believe that. Like
yeah,
there's something even better in
yeah.
store that like we can't imagine. So
Exactly.
Well, and the last thing I would add too is, which is like not like it's like a very soft thing. It's not like the business school skill, but I mean, I think, and I do think that this probably happens at all business schools. I've only ever been to Kellogg, so I can't comment. But I also think like investing in those relationships is really
That's what I was going
important
to add.
too. Oh,
Exactly.
sorry. You already
That's fine. Yeah,
the
I totally
I
agree.
think for all of us, I mean, I think these friendships and these have will far outlast any job. And I think the advice that we've given to each other, right? Like the three of us were business partners, and best friends, and we've stayed like lifelong friends. And I think we've all been through a lot together, right? We've been through business things, we've been through family things, all the things. And so, I mean, I think investing in those, you can spend a lot of time getting your resume ready, but like the job stuff is going to figure it out. I think investing in these relationships is really important because as you go through life and the plan doesn't go the way you plan, these relationships are like what help keep you on track. And I think
your
it is a
anchor.
very special Kellogg thing, like the positive culture that happens there. And I would say, we've got still a great big group chat of friends, right? And I think going back to Kellogg last year for our reunion, seeing how many people showed up, like the WhatsApp from people all over the world every single day posting that they're just trying to see, and connect. That is my last advice is like, these are the things that are like lifelong. You might forget your debit credit situation, but you're not going to forget these friends, or you're not going to forget the advice they give you along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I mean,
Great.
just quality people you're going to meet in business school
Yeah,
and appreciate them.
Yeah.
exactly. Um, okay, now switching gears, like kind of a little two quick questions and then okay, so one word to describe our time at Kellogg, each of you. Nicole.
I would
Fun,
say exhilarating.
Okay, Erin, Nicole. What's your word?
fun, fun,
Fun.
fun.
Okay.
It is
Yeah,
fun. All of it was fun. Starting a company
it
is
was
fun.
fun.
Friends are
It
fun. Like it's
was the
fun.
business.
Yeah.
Yep.
It really
Fun.
was.
Fun's
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Now, this is like a little, we'll see how this goes. Okay, so I'm gonna say like sort of a question, and then we all say who we think it is. I don't know. Okay. Who is who's the most unfiltered and likely to say exactly what everyone is
Me,
thinking?
Erin.
Erin. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that was an easy
You
one.
guys appreciate that.
Yeah.
Totally. Yes.
Okay. Just
Who's
making
most
sure.
likely to initiate the spontaneous last minute girls trip?
Stacy.
Oh,
Stacy.
okay. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, who's the master of quiet leadership and gets the most done behind the scenes?
Ooh,
Ooh.
you guys could
Three-way
tie for that.
tie?
Who can you guys
Three-way
tie
Me
for
tie?
that?
too. Yeah. Okay. Who's most likely to negotiate the better deal at a local market or vintage store?
Not Stacy.
Oh,
I mean,
maybe
I
I
think
think
Erin.
me.
Yeah.
Aaron.
I think
I think
me.
it's
I
Aaron.
mean,
Yeah.
I once
Okay.
got called out for negotiating a mango in Thailand.
Yeah, it's Aaron.
Yeah.
I me.
Okay. Who has the most diverse array of non-MBA hobbies or secret talents? I'm
Ooh.
gonna say Nicole.
Ooh. Ooh,
Y-
no.
Ooh.
On your ranch and different, I mean, your husband helps with that, but okay.
Hmm.
That's an interesting one.
Okay.
Um, who is the most likely to have a genuinely shocking what happens in Vegas story?
Well, is this like today in present day?
I'm still voting for you.
Yeah, you.
Who's
Erin.
you? Me?
You. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Who would you want to get lost in the wilderness with?
Both of you.
Ooh. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take either one of you for sure.
Although I'd get you more lost, but who's the best at making the other two laugh until they cry?
Hmm.
You're both good at that too.
I know.
Um,
Those are
okay.
all good
I think
qualities
I
that you're
think
calling
I
out.
think that's a wrap.
I think we know why
Um,
we're friends.
now we're gonna close this out and then we need to powwow and talk, of course. But okay. Seriously, you guys, thank you so much. This is probably going to be my like lifelong favorite podcast ever that I get to host. Um, you're the best. I'm even listening to you today. I'm like so proud of you and like just impressed by everything you do and juggle. I mean, everything that we talked about today is in addition to having amazing families, raising incredible kids, making time for friends. I think you both like are role models to me, and I'm grateful for you. So thank you for joining today.
Thank you for hosting us. We're so proud of you and all you've done. So it's nice to be a part of it in just this little way.
Yeah, thank you.
So fun.
Same to that, Stacey.
This
This
has
is
been very
amazing.
exhilarating. Thank
Yeah,
you.
been fun.
Okay. Um, stop recording. Stop recording. Okay, can she read?